Evening, everyone, and good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are. Salaryman here. We are here again in another live, another lecture about the literature of anime and manga. Recently, a lot of Japanese artists, mangakas, and authors have expressed extreme concern that anime and manga are becoming mainstream arts, are becoming very popular in Western countries, and their concern is that us as fans are going to change the landscape of the writing and how they should approach their stories, and that we basically they said that we are not educated enough or experienced enough when it comes to anime and manga to be able to understand what they are doing, and that us joining the conversation is going to downgrade everything that they've worked for and make it basically another mainstream corporate controlled art uh, dictate what they can't that dictates what they can and what they can't do with their stories. But that is not true. We are educated enough and we are knowledgeable enough, and I have met a lot of anime fans from outside Japan, from outside Eastern countries that are extremely knowledgeable and very traditional in the way they approach the art form. But again, the whole thing needs to be regulated in a way. Like, what decides if it's good art or bad art? It's extremely subjective at this point because it's their point of view, our point of view, my point of view, your point of view. That's why we need more discourse and more discussions and more literary approach and more structured debates to be able to pinpoint what's good and what's bad. So again, if you are not familiar with the channel, on our channel, we are trying to create enough discourse about manga and anime as forms of literature until they are taken seriously enough to be in the world of academia. There are majors, college majors out there related to manga and anime, but they are mostly about the design, the art, the animation, which, let's be honest, very soon, I don't agree with it, but it's going to happen very soon, is going to be it's overtaken by AI. Uh, Either AI is going to create it from scratch or it's going to be AI assisted art. What is going to be the difference maker here? The writing, the artist's ability to create proper world building, good pacing, proper character development, and so on, right? So that's what we're trying to learn here. We are trying to put our hands on the main issues so we can go on and become good critics, good judges of quality work. Today, our topic is villains. When did villains stop being villains, guys? I remember when I was young, a bad guy was a bad guy, a bad lady was a bad lady. We fought them, we beat them, we moved on with our lives, and it was a perfect world. What happened? When did everyone become extremely morally gray? I blame Thanos. I blame that dude that came out and he was like, "Ah, I am all purple and I will kill everyone." And everyone was like, "Yeah, dude's got a point." And now a generation is gonna grow up thinking that like ethnic like destruction is the right way. That's not how it works. So let's take a look here at our today's lesson. Usual antagonists. If you're watching an anime or reading a manga and you look at the villain who is something clearly wrong, something that should be done, and you think maybe he's got a point, something's wrong. If you think, oh my god, he's so handsome, is wrong. Actually, multiple things are wrong. If you think they're cool, they're innocent, they were forced into this, something is wrong. And unfortunately, some of our authors, mangakas, and writers have created villains that are either too charismatic or too powerful or too good with their words, and they were able to affect our moral compass to a certain extent. That is extremely dangerous. This is very dangerous. And here's why. Understanding where someone is coming from does not justify what they are doing. A reason is not an excuse. Yes, sometimes when anime or manga gives us a backstory of a villain and details, the reasoning behind this is that they want to show you that nothing happens in vacuum, that that person comes from a place. They didn't just descend on Earth as like a bad power or a demonic power, especially if that villain is human. But what they are not trying to do is make you think he's got a point. No, they're just showing you why that villain is doing this, not justifying the actions, right? Because what are we doing? If we don't have a moral direction, if good versus evil doesn't work anymore, drop the anime, drop the manga, go into the real world. It's absolutely great. Bad guys are getting rewarded, good guys are getting punished. You don't need an anime or a manga. You don't need suspension of disbelief to do that. You don't need escapism or any art of any sort. Just walk into the streets and watch the purgatory that we live in, uh, like with judgment being suspended for the last couple of millennia. But if you are watching a story, if you're watching an art form like manga or anime, you need moral direction. Or what's the point? Who are you cheering for? Again, moral clarity matters. Young audiences. In our Naruto video, we have showcased in details, feel free to go back and watch it, how Naruto literally raised a generation. How you can turn on Naruto, drop a 3, 4 year old kid, and let Naruto raise them, babysit them, and they will grow up with sane minds, good morals, and a heart that will lead them towards success. We also cannot keep saying that charisma overshadows ethics. That's why we live in a world where celebrities, beautiful people, powerful people keep getting away with stuff because we grow up watching handsome men getting away with women not playing by the rules, and you're okay with, oh, they're so kawaii. That is unacceptable simply to the art of storytelling that good and bad. The fact that that manga elements complicates things a little bit. Back in the day when literature was just a work of art, no matter how good looking or amazing a villain is described, you can still judge them clearly. I reference one of my favorite artworks, the portrait of Dorian Gray or the picture of Dorian Gray, where Dorian was an immortal because painted a picture of him, captured his soul in the picture, and he wished that the picture ages instead of him. Yada yada yada. Point is, he was immortal. He was extremely handsome. He was the most beautiful people ever. You did not care. You did not see the picture. You watched his actions. He was vile. He was a narcissist. You judged him clearly. Can you do that, Hachi? Can you do that with Light Yagami, with their beautiful eyes and just aura farming personalities? No, that's a problem. That's a little dangerous. Again, we are what we consume. If you are what you eat, you are also what you watch. Remember, we spend most of our day, especially in 2026, consuming insane amounts of movies, videos, anime. It is shaping our personality, like it or not. You're gonna start quoting people, characters from what you're watching. You're gonna start making inside jokes from what you're watching. You're gonna start aspiring to be the people that you like from what you watch. So be careful with what you consume, with what you let your loved ones consume. You don't want to end up with a cool villain as a son or a daughter, okay? Be careful. But hear me out. There are some situations where villains were introduced at a certain level of good looks or wisdom or good personalities, and they were glorified. But that was for a reason. That was just a pre setup for later when they redeemed themselves. Those were not villains. Those were just undercooked anti heroes. And during the process of the show, they get to redeem themselves. They get to be better. They get to do better. They become heroes or anti-heroes. And I love that. For me, this is the perfect balance. You want to introduce a character that's doing bad, make them mean good later. Make them join the good side. Make up for what you do. That teaches a much better lesson. That we all are flawed, that we all make mistakes, that we lose ourselves sometimes, but as long as you find your way back, as long as you rectify your errors, as long as you accept and change, it is okay. That is acceptable. I specifically remember when I was younger, Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai. There was a that Dai had to face, and Unico was just sword that turned into whip. That he was he was like literally a knight in shining armor, and he was extremely handsome, and he had the whole aura farming thing before even aura was invented, and it was confusing. You would look at him and it was like, why is the cool guy bad? But here's the thing: they made him redeem himself. They made him redeem himself. He was defeated. After his defeat, he thought about it, found the problems with what he was doing. He recognized his mistakes and he changed. Then he joined the good side and he played a big role in supporting Dai and his comrades fight evil. That is something I can live with. This is how it should be done. There's nothing better than seeing a high quality villain join the good side. Like, come on, those are our favorites, right? When they just stop at the last second and give it a second thought, another thought, and just save the day. So that's what I mean with charismatic villains or sympathetic villains are not bad as long as they get to redeem themselves and we don't push too much on justifications for their actions because that is a big no no in storytelling. Case studies in earned change. Let's take some of these very, very, very popular characters that we all know and love. My first example is from Avatar, The Last Airbender, and I'm not going to go into a debate of it's an anime or not an anime. It is part of the anime culture, like it or not. I don't care who animated it. If it's Western, Eastern, Middle Eastern, who cares? It is on the level and style of anime and manga. So we take Zuko as a great example. Zuko from the first minute is charismatic, used to say, powerful, have a very good backstory, and you sympathize with him. But he also admits his mistakes, his faults, redeems himself, walks the right path before we have a conclusion of the story. Another character where everyone loved as a villain, loved as an anti-hero, then loved as a fully fledged main character hero, Vegeta, the Super Saiyan from planet Vegeta. His growth on all fronts was just phenomenal. Now that's how you write a charismatic villain. That's how you write an aura farming anti-hero. Finally, someone that went a little bit further than the others, that did things that are considered unforgivable, is Obito, which is actually right here. He is one of my masks or multiple personalities, salaryman's multiple personalities. Obito went a little too far, and that's why there was no redemption for Obito. But there was, what can we say? a correction, uh, a path to forgiveness. He did two important things. First, he faced his punishment with grace. He and minimized the damage that he has caused when he was consumed. Our least favorite characters in anime are when main characters just go heel, like it's the WWE. You know what I mean? Like it's when a good character that starts off with all the 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 qualities of a hero and they just go crazy, go insane. Biggest example is Light Yagami. He is presented as intelligent, as charismatic, as handsome, as successful, academically inclined. Everything was just setting him up to be the right protagonist. And then out of nowhere, he starts developing a God complex, not out of nowhere, but you know, it did not go as expected for us. He becomes the hero that we neither wanted nor needed. And as it progresses, he becomes a villain, a fully fledged villain, a cool villain. Then at the end, it's extremely pathetic. And yeah, I understand that he got what he deserved towards the end. But again, he was still the main character. You kept the lights on him. You kept people crushing on him. Everyone was doing YouTube edits about him. You still made him too cool. I did not like that. I love Death Note. Death Note is literally the gateway into anime. Like if it changed, it converted all of us into anime and manga lovers. It made all of us enter that beautiful world of Japanese literature that we are trying to build so hard. But again, we could have had another character or protagonist, such as L, but in a more clearly good way, like and give them a win. Another one is Eren Yeager. Oh dear God, you watch, and I know Eren Yeager and Light Yagami are an exact replica of what would happen in real life if people are given those powers, if people are put in these situations. But I don't know. For myself, these stories are escapism for me. I jump into them because the real world is not exactly a nice place to be, right? I don't want to go into anime and manga and find myself thrown back into reality exaggerated. And instead of crazy people, they're crazy people with superpowers. No, 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 no. Sometimes you gotta throw me a bone. That's why, for me, and I know it's a little bit controversial, don't come for me in the comments, I believe that Armin was actually the real protagonist on Attack on Titan, and you can see towards the final arcs how he is behaving, how he is in control, how his character develops, parallel with how Eren devolves. Like the more Eren devolves, the more Armin evolves into something better, something stronger. So I will stick by my opinion that Armin was the main character of Attack on Titan. There are a lot of clues where you can feel sometimes that the story is from his POV because he is the most relatable character to all of us. Now, the power of pure opposition. That is another type of villains, which is what we grew up with, especially in shonen anime and shonen mangas. Uh, a villain, as simple as that. A Not a one-dimensional villain, but when it comes to morals, they are one-dimensional. They are evil. They just want to see the world burn. Someone like the Joker, you can 100% be against what they're doing. So easy to hate them. So easy to root for the main character, for the protagonist. And the worse they are, the better they make the protagonist look. Think about it. Something like Demon Slayer. Muzan was pure evil. He was cool. He was strong. He was Orifar, but they made sure to not give him a sympathetic backstory. He was evil. All his goals were selfish. He did not even care about his people. It's not like he was fighting for the redemption of demons or some other. No, 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 no. He hated everyone. He didn't care about anyone. He was a coward. Like beneath all that power, he was still scared and he was running away. So, because of that, Tanjiro and the Hashiras and humanity looked good, looked strong. It was easy to cheer for them and be on their side. And when they win, you feel like you got a satisfactory ending. You're not thinking twice about what happened. Someone else like Frieza, like who ever liked Frieza? Like he's a little funny sometimes, but other than that, he is just a psychopath. Since he was a kid, they didn't even make him like an innocent kid that evolved into this because of anything. No, 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 no. Just pure baby evil into pure adult evil. Like he's hated by everyone, even the villains. Like no one on the right or left is on Frieza's side, which also one of the reasons that made uh, that. Hello, Pancakes Boy, long time listener, first time joiner in our live stream. Thanks, man. So I was just saying, it made Goku even more of a hero because the villains that he was fighting, they were 100% evil. You never had to think twice. Oh my God, Frieza's so cute. No, Frieza's not cute. He looks like a an alien lizard, like how he should look like, because he was an alien lizard, which made everything easy. So again, like I was saying, it is extremely dangerous to write morally gray villains. It's extremely dangerous to watch or get attached to morally gray villains. We are young, even I feel like still my morality and my moral compass still being shaped in the world. Every day we're learning new things about what's really happening, the balance of power in the world, who are the bad guys, who are the good guys. So if you are not careful, you're going to end up as a pawn for the dark side, for the bad side, just because you thought Light was tall and handsome and you become like an insane person. Uh, how can we protect ourselves? How can we uh, be good consumers of anime and manga literature? Stick to morally clear stories. Stories about good and evil, stories about a protagonist that can be respected and a villain that deserves to be defeated. And if you want some of the school villains, make sure that they are redeemable, that they will rectify and will join the good side. Because believe me, if you don't, you will end up after finishing feeling a hole in your heart because something is wrong with the world that you escaped into, and you go back into the real world and it's the same thing, and you feel like you've been tricked into just facing reality in a even darker, more exaggerated way. I personally don't mind morally great characters, but I find them overrated. Though I agree that for kids they shouldn't try to relate to these morally great characters. Yeah, so that very good. So this is a healthy way of approaching it. Morally great characters, they can exist, but as long as you know they're overrated, as long as you're not forming like an unhealthy mental connection with them or like liking them too much, it's okay. For kids, it's extremely dangerous. They don't know what's right or what's wrong. They're still biting and cursing and spitting all over the place. If you don't give them a good protagonist like Naruto and anime and mangas where the bad guys are getting their butts kicked, they will not understand what's right and what's wrong. Uh, but like again, like I said, morally great characters that are redeemable. Like some of them are cool. Like Itachi, I'm a little bit harsh on Itachi. Itachi is a personal friend of mine. He sits here all day. Yes, I'm a crazy person that talks to his action figures. Have Itachi and a Nobito mask. But Itachi, I'm a little harsh on him because in the end, he was not trying to justify. He felt bad. He had the regret. He kind of voluntarily did what Obito did when he let himself like wither away, or the way that he went down was a fair way to go down. So, thank you so much for watching. This is another lecture. Feel free to go back to the channel, create discourse, comment. I take everything and I document it and I reference it later and I use your comments to guide me on what next videos we can do. Like and subscribe. This channel is not one of those viral channels. It's not going to have thousands or millions of subscribers, but the small community that we have is really working. Like we have fellow salarymen, fellow anime fans, and they're extremely enthusiastic and passionate about this world. And as long as it's solid, as long as we're having fun, I love making these videos and going on these lives. Take care, Pancakes Boy. Super happy to have you here today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, Salaryman.